welcome to Ibis Weather. This is Sarah. We're here for today's update of August 21st, 2025. So again, we're here. I'm talking about Erin, who is definitely on her way out for the most part, at least for land, which is a good thing. And we're going to be also looking at the tropical outlook as well as our three current areas of interest. So it's getting to that very active time of the season as expected, as we are now in the peak. And then we're also going to touch on a little bit about all the talk on social media about, are we getting an early fall? Are we going to be abnormally cooler? What does that look like? And we're also going to be looking at what sort of NOAA is thinking for the actual outlook for the next 3 months, so September through November. That'd be kind of a fun thing to see too, and then we can look back later on to see if they were correct or not, which they probably more likely than not are correct, as we definitely have seen with Erin. So let's go ahead and talk about what we have over here. So Erin has definitely has turned northeast as expected. So that's not northeast, just northeast, and she is booking it. She is right now over there a little bit by the Mid Atlantic, quite a few miles out. She's moving at 20 miles per hour, which is what we expected. And she is a category one, a strong category one right now. She'll continue to stay as a hurricane for a little while longer before she transitions into extratropical and lose that strength. Of course, there's still swells being experienced up and down the East Coast. Right now, it's more or less from like mid Atlantic up to Atlantic Canada. Unfortunately, and of course, I'm sure Bermuda's getting some of it as well, but it's definitely been an eventful few days for everyone. So again, pay attention to any warnings and watches. If you go to the beach, make sure you pay attention to the flags, anything that is being said by the lifeguards on duty or etc., as you do not want to be caught out in the recurrence that she is causing. It's also been reported that she's been causing 20-foot waves. I don't know necessarily if any have actually made it to land. Um, but she has been causing it definitely closer toward the eye, which is, expected. It's what a hurricane will do and what a strong, powerful one will do. So it's not really surprising, but it is what it is. We'll get back to her in a moment. So let's go ahead and talk about. We'll go from the least to to the more urgent one. So this is disturbance number three. It is in the central Atlantic. It's a very small area, about 1,200 miles from the Azores. A few showers and thunderstorms, saying that upper level winds will only be very small time of conductive for development within the next couple of days. So for both 48 hours and 7 days, it has a low chance of 30%. Let's go and talk about Invest 99L, which is this, which it has shrunk down as well. It's kind of become a little bit more favorable, which we'll look at in a moment as well, obviously, since I know everybody wants to talk about that. Um, so it's saying that it's still, associated with a tropical wave. It's several hundred miles west southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Saying it's changed a little in organization since earlier today. Conditions appear marginally favorable for additional development for the next day or two. Um, and they say a short-lived tropical depression could form as in a couple days. The environmental conditions are not going to be favorable, so still has 40% for both 48 hours and 7 days. This one is probably going to be a tropical storm Fernand, as that is the next name on the list after Erin. And they have it at 50 for 48 hours and 70% for the next 7 days. And this has now been designated as Invest 90L. So because the one behind it was 99L, like I said earlier, they kind of go through them, each number set in the 90s throughout the thing. So you'll see these numbers being reused quite a bit throughout the season. And so this one has been designated. Right now it is near the Leeward Islands. However, it's disorganized and thunderstorms associated with it are a few hundred miles east of the islands. Environmental conditions appear conducive for further development later on, and a tropical depression is likely to form this weekend, as it follows kind of into shadow of what Erin has done. So it's definitely interesting. Um, so let's go ahead and look at some of the information that we have for the Into Invest systems. But before that, oh, did I? I did not. Okay, well, we'll talk about Hurricane Erin. I did not have these in the order I wanted to go, so I apologize. Hurricane Erin, to look at what she's been up to. Um, Tropical storm warnings for south of Duck, North Carolina have been discontinued. Um, So still from north of Duck into Virginia, that they have the tropical storm warnings, and then of course Bermuda has also upgraded theirs to a warning. As you can see, her winds have definitely kind of become a little bit more lopsided. The evolution of these storms change and grow and shrink and get sheared out. That's not completely unexpected. So her winds are closer to Bermuda, tropical storm force. Still very wide storm. You can see they expect her to stay in a hurricane until 2 a.m. Saturday, at least by Saturday afternoon. She'll be extratropical as she continues to head more north. And it looks like she'll be kind of, I don't want to say slowing down necessarily. I guess between Monday and Tuesday she will, as she fizzles out officially, and we will have no more Erin. Um, which will be interesting. But again, very choppy seas, rip currents, high waters can be expected for mid-Atlantic to southern New England and Atlantic Canada. I know there's been some talk on social media right now about New Jersey declaring a state of an emergency. I think I saw one place try to say that they had issued um, a tropical storm warning or watch. That's not true, as per what the National Hurricane Center is showing for there was obviously could be some kind of other watch or warning system that the flags they could have on the beach that somebody might be confusing with it or misconstruing it to say, make it sound worse than it is. That's possible. Um, that's very possible in this day and age in the world of social media. Unfortunately, people do things for clicks, for sure. So that is possible. But for the most part, I don't think you guys are going to be worried. She'll be pretty far off from the coast of anywhere up and further north. So that is good. As I mentioned, she is moving northeast now at 20 miles per hour. Wind speed is 100 miles per hour, so she is Cat 1 at the moment. So she has weakened, which is good. Of course, she's still a very wide storm and still causing a lot of rough seas. And she is on her way out. Probably see by the end of this weekend, she'll probably be fizzled out officially, and everyone can take kind of a sigh of relief at that point. Key messages, obviously, is I like to mention these for them. Saying she'll continue to produce life-threatening surf and currents along the beaches of the Bahamas, much of the East Coast, and Bermuda and Atlantic Canada during the next several days. Again, follow any rules from your local authorities, lifeguards, and pay attention to beach warning flags. Storm surge will continue through in the North Carolina Outer Banks through tonight. It will be accompanied by large waves. I'm sure you've seen the photos. I have quite a few of that stuff actually on my official Facebook page, which I will have linked below if you want to follow it to see some of those photographs and videos of what people have been reporting and seeing. Of course, this could lead to beach erosion and overwash, making some areas impassable, such as Highway 12. Tropical storm conditions are expected a few more hours for North Carolina and Virginia coasts. Wind gusts to tropical storm force are likely along portions of the remainder of the U.S. Mid-Atlantic and southern New England through early tomorrow, Friday. And tropical storm conditions are expected this evening to continue for Bermuda into early tomorrow, Friday. Gusts to gale force are possible along the coast of Nova Scotia on Friday and the Avalon Peninsula of Newfoundland on Saturday. And then kind of give you guys a current look at what she's currently looking like right now. So as you can see, this is the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So she definitely appears to be close. Her eye is more or less over here, so good couple 100 miles away. Um, which is good, but as you can see, again, her circulation in clouds for sure. It does look like she's being sheared some in the south. Again, kind of you saw on her wind field, it's kind of lopsided. Again, not completely unexpected for what happens as they get closer to land, and then she continues to go more toward cooler waters. That is expected as well. Let's talk about Invest 99L. So this is the one that is behind. Invest 90L, which is the one that is directly behind Erin. So this is currently what a satellite presentation looks like. It's definitely kind of got that tropical depression look. It has not been designated as that yet. Sometimes we just don't know why, even if something looks like it should be. We don't know what makes the National Hurricane Center decide to designate something as such or not. We've seen things that do not look like it should be designated and things like this that should probably be designated and are not. I don't know the science behind it or their logic, but it is what it is. So again, this is Invest 99L. You can definitely see she's got some convection firing and it's doing what it should be doing as a tropical system trying to form as it continues to move west. Let's talk about spaghetti models. So this is the Euro for Invest 99L. Again, keeping it low, riding close to the South America continent, of course, and we'll have to see. There are a couple now too that's kind of pulling it more up towards the path that we've seen Erin and probably what Fernand will do. We'll have to kind of wait and see if that's going to be a trend or not. Some do try to take it into the Gulf, which we'll have to wait and see. Even though they say that the conditions are unfavorable in the future, or as it continues to go west, there is a possibility that it could fizzle out, but continues to be a broken wave, traveling, and remnants of it and the moisture that it has could try to actually become something else later on. So kind of depends on wherever it tracks, which is one of the reasons why I think it's important to know where it's tracking, because if theory, if it does get closer to, let's say, the Gulf, it is possible the Gulf could be juiced up enough to fuel it and get it starting up as something as a successful hurricane or tropical storm. That has happened before. We've seen it happen with previous waves like this. So, and since we are in the peak of the season, you just can't completely rule it out. So we'll wait and see what this one does. But this is why I want to show kind of what the spaghetti plots are for. It to kind of give us an idea of where to look out once this does dissipate for now. For the GFS, very similar to the Euro. Again, very much a south rider, riding close to South America. And again, we do see two trying to pull up more north in latitude. We'll have to wait and see what it does. Which is, again, is something interesting to kind of keep an eye on and watch. Doesn't look like it really has much, at least in terms of low pressure, to really do much of anything, at least on GFS. Now, granted, the GFS has not been the greatest in predicting things. I mean, it wasn't exactly very good with Erin. There was other models that were. I do hope once she dissipates to kind of get into a video a little bit more about the history of Erin and her track, and so we can kind of look back and see. And then, of course, next year, as they do for every year, the National Hurricane Center does release a final report. I will hope to have a video on that too when that comes out early next year. Um, but I do think it's interesting to watch these and see where it happens with these things. But we'll have to wait and see what this one does for 99L. Let's talk about Invest 90L now. So this is the one that's in the middle of the Central Atlantic. You're going to see this one definitely is not as impressive as 99L. Uh, this one's definitely got some shear. It looks like it's possibly going to be broken apart in two, if you can see toward the middle. Does not really seem to have very much spin to it at all either, which is interesting. It's definitely close to the Leeward Islands, which, we knew that. But we can definitely see it getting pulled up more north as expected, so kind of following in the wake of Erin. This will probably become Fernand based off of just the chances they have given it at the National Hurricane Center. So this will probably be the next storm. It might impact Bermuda. It's just too early to tell right now, know what it will be, and the eventual track that it will take. Um, but yes, this one definitely does not look as impressive as a 99L, which I'll go back to this to show you. That one definitely has the convection firing up and looks more impressive, but for a reason, the National Hurricane Center thinks this one has better conditions, which is interesting, and I'll show you something a little bit later, which makes it a little bit of a curious case for sure. But this probably will be Fernand. It looks definitely like it's not doing so well this evening. Okay, let's go on to the next topic. What will be Fernand's spaghetti plot. So as you can see, this one definitely pulling it up north. Let me see if we can locate Bermuda on here. It does look like it takes at least two or three to take it over Bermuda. And then some of the others pulling more east. It does look like it could possibly clip over there in the Canadian, Atlantic Canadian areas. So that is something worth noting. It does show one going north of the Leeward Islands and the Virgin Islands, but that's just one. We'll see if that model continues that trend. As we mentioned, we look for trends with these models, kind of like what we saw with Erin. Is it, some of the models definitely ticked more west, and eventually they had to move the cone a little bit more west. So that's definitely a possibility right now, but we'll wait and see what particularly 90L wants to do. That was the Euro models. This is the GFS. A lot more wider, swath of what they can do. Bermuda looks to be kind of in the middle of it, being very close to some of them. So we'll have to wait and see. But they all pull up in the track of Erin. So we'll have to wait and see if Fernand follows Erin or not. Not super close, obviously. Again, there's a reason for that, which we'll show in a little bit, but this is, what they're thinking. So again, GFS for the past few years hasn't been the greatest at predicting things, so we'll wait and see what is more accurate out of all the models. Um, but this one definitely shows some possibility for sure. It's interesting over there closer to the Lake of Canada. It shows it having a lower um, level of pressure over there, so close to Canada, which the waters are cooler up there. So I'm not sure. Again, this is just a computer model, so obviously, these will change between now and then. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing for both 90L and 99L. Uh, then I wanted, of course, to show you guys the winds on the planet. I do think this is interesting, fun to learn. You can actually learn quite a bit. So obviously you can see Erin over here. Again, very large. You can sort of see how they're getting some of the winds from the north now over there in the Outer Banks. Just again, it really shows you what concentrated storm she is in her center and the power and just the sheer size. It's very interesting. And again, she'll continue to track northeast. Um, Over here by the Leeward Islands. Not really seeing on surface level very much circulation, which again, the satellite image kind of showed us that. We'll look at some of the other levels too, out of curiosity for it, and you can definitely see more of a circulation trying. Looks like there might be two competing areas for circulation on a lower level for 99L over here, and then it looks like we might be getting another wave coming off Africa pretty soon. So let's go ahead and look at some of these other levels at 1,000. Oops. Can I? Again, over there by the leeward is not that little green thing circle here is where I clicked on accidentally. But again, not really seeing lower level of circulation. Definitely see it more over here with 99L at 850. Okay, you can start seeing definitely trying to have a little more circulation over there by the Leeward Islands. There's some curvature there for sure. You can definitely see 99L though definitely has more of a closed circulation there. Kind of elongated though. And then you can sort of see some of the other areas trying to create circulation. Let's see for 700. Oh, you can definitely see again 99L for sure. Okay, so again, you can sort of start seeing where 90L is trying to get itself together. Um, okay, at 500 feet, it's definitely got more of a circulation going on, again, kind of elongated. You can sort of see it being stretched to pull north. 99Ls also obviously has some circulation going on over there. 250, okay, at that point, they don't really have either of it. 70, again, I'm not seeing anything. And for 10, again, not seeing anything. So very interesting. Um, what you can see on that and why I like to look at it because you can kind of start seeing and figuring out, okay, right now who has what looks like to be the better shot forming something more um, convenient or not convenient, more official or not. And of course, speaking of tropical development, again, another reason why it would be interesting to see 90L trying to form anything, which that's the one east of um, the Leeward Islands, is you can definitely see this is a sea surface temperature anomaly for 7 days, which changed in the past 7 days. Over there by the Bahamas, you can clearly see it has dropped the sea surface temperatures. That is because of Hurricane Erin's upwelling. So as she continued to churn the water and grow. She was pulling up the cooler waters from the bottom or deeper levels of the ocean, not necessarily the bottom, and bringing it up to the surface. And that is what cooled it down significantly. So if you remember previously, the reason why we were so worried about Erin was because of the abnormally warm, well, they say abnormal, but the warm sea surface temperatures. But you can see over here, Erin has done quite the number on it, and even a little bit over here east of the Leeward Islands. So it's going to be interesting to see why, again, what they're thinking is why it would develop. Again, as I mentioned before, it does take more than just perfect sea temperatures to create a storm. So there might be more in the picture that we're just not knowing. They're just not disclosing that at the moment because it's just an invest. Um, but I thought it was worth checking out and seeing. Again, kind of talking a little bit more about the science aspect of these hurricanes and what they can do um, as well. And then global tropics hazard outlook hasn't really changed from what we saw yesterday, but we still have, 20% or less for both the week of August 27th through September 2nd, September 3rd through September 9th. So you do see grow and kind of track out more. And then, of course, like I said, for the week of September 3rd, over there in the southwest Gulf, and then of course over there by the Yucatan, there's a chance of something forming there too. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Now let's talk about another topic that has grown to be quite popular on social media right now, which is everybody wanting fall. I'm not sure if it's because this year has just been not the greatest year for many people. As we all know, a lot of people have not been happy this year. The economy's not doing as good or as great as we would hope it would have. And then there's personal things going on in people's lives. I know I have my reasons for wanting this year to end, um, for personal reasons. So I think a lot of it is we just want fall and we want winter. We just want the year to end. So of course, people seeking out and wanting that. And there's been a lot of talk about, oh, there's a cold front coming through. It's going to come through most of the lower 48. It's going to make everyone feel like fall. Well, it's technically true. A cold front is going to come through. If you are talking about truly cold temperatures, you're not going to get that. At least in, the southern part of the country, you'll definitely not have winter or fall like temps for that. It might make it drier, it might make it feel a little bit better. But it's a trend and we should start seeing if this continues on. So let's go ahead and look at the 8 to 14 days. So interesting, as you can see, the near normal to below normal. Fortunately for Florida, you guys are going to stay normal or a little bit above. Definitely southern Florida, you'll be definitely above that. Central, more, a little bit closer to normal, as well as North Florida, and then the Panhandle will be apparently around normal. Of course, then you see, I know people say, oh, well, look at, North Texas and Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, all those states, and then, of course, up to the Northeast. Again, it will be somewhat below normal for August 29th through September 4th. But how abnormal? Not very abnormal. If you see down here, it does tell you the probability percent of chance. So, an example, let's talk about Denver. You will have 33 to 40% below normal. Miami, you will have about 50 to 60% above normal. Atlanta, you will have about 40 to 50%. No, no, you'll be a little bit cool. 50 to 60%, below average was that thinking as well for you. So not quite, we're not anywhere near fall yet. Will we see more of these kind of storms tracking, you don't know storms, more of these cold fronts tracking further south and making these changes? It's possible. Again, we just don't know. Of course, up there closer to the Canada on the western side, and then of course part of California and the west coast, you'll definitely be above normal. A little bit will be normal, and then a little bit southern California, extreme southern California, so like San Diego and all that will be below normal as well. So we're not haven't changed the seasons quite yet. And while this might be the start of something that we might see, we just have to wait and see. Let's talk a little bit over here too about Hawaii and Alaska and the Aleutian Islands. So it looks like the Aleutian Islands will be about normal. Alaska is going to be above normal. As well as Hawaii. So I know we don't really talk much about you guys at the moment. I want to try and incorporate you guys more into my weather conversations with you guys since I'm sure eventually if you're not already watching some in the future will. And I do want to cover more than just tropics, even though the tropics are my passion. So definitely want to start including you guys. Let's go ahead and look at the 3 month outlook for it. And as you can see, it's definitely showing no one is cooling down anywhere soon enough. Equal chances for extreme northern U.S., mid central, and then everyone else is above normal. The Four Corners, especially, are above normal. Interestingly enough, extreme northern Alaska will be above normal. Most of Florida above normal. New England and Mid Atlantic will be definitely above normal. Some of the others will be closer to normal. Um, so we'll just have to see, like, is this going to continue to stay true? Is this going to stay the seasonal outlook for the next 3 months? This was its sheet today, so we'll have to wait and see if that changes. But again, it's showing we're not we're not at start fall yet. Unfortunately, it means we got to still keep our eyes out for the tropics. We're now in the peak of the season. So important things to remember. Um, Erin is on her way out. She is moving away from uh, North America. She'll continue and probably visit out by the end of this weekend, which will be good news. Um, we will do a video kind of documenting, showing some of the historical elements of what Erin has done as well. We do have possible Fernand coming up. It looks like that he'll probably not be, a major threat to most people, possibly Bermuda. It just again depends on his track. Invest 99L. Definitely looking more organized. We'll see what that does. If that will try to form something now, or it will dissipate and move to warmer waters and try to reform into something else. This little lemon here in the middle of the Atlantic, I'm not worried about it. It's very low chances. It's a very small area. It's in the middle out in the ocean. It's inconsequential to most people at the moment. Um, and then, of course, we'll talk about the fact that, yes, we're getting somewhat of a cold front coming through, but it's not really going to be cold. And the seasonal outlook is still set for above normal for the next 3 months. So please feel free to share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Even when we're not having necessary talks about hurricanes and, possible hurricanes and tropics, I want to do other content. I have a couple ideas and videos that I'm hoping to bring out very soon. Um, More on a historical aspect of certain weather things and all that I think will be interesting and helpful. I'm having fun researching them at the very least. Feel free to follow me on Facebook. You'll see some stuff I don't share here on YouTube, particularly photos of what people have been reporting and seeing in North Carolina and Virginia and up and down the coast from Erin. Of course, that's where I share information about any evacuation orders and all that as well as there. So please feel free to subscribe, share, and like. And we'll be back tomorrow with another update on where Erin is and where she is closer towards her end. And we'll see if Fernand actually develops in the next 24 hours or not, and what that might bring to Bermuda and others. So thank you guys for listening, and I will talk to you guys later.